Hi guys. So having explored the concepts of referencing, citation and bibliography, we will now move on to discuss the various differences among them. At first, we are going to discuss the distinction between citation and references. References and citations are the apples and oranges of the writing world. While it might seem like these two words are interchangeable, but they are distinctly different within the scholarly writing. There can be confusion as to what the exact difference is between a citation and a reference. As I mentioned earlier, a citation occurs when you use a specific source in your work and then follow up with proper bibliographic information at the end of the manuscript. Plagiarism issue arises when you use a specific source but fail to indicate what you have borrowed or fail to provide a reference that guides readers to your source. So, in simple terms, you acknowledge the source of a particular piece of writing in the paper in citation. Referencing, on the other hand, is a comprehensive list of source information that is cited and also endorsed by the author's statement. It is presented at the end of the manuscript. As you can see from the image, a particular piece of text is acknowledged using numerics. Subsequently, a detailed bibliographical information is provided for each in-text citation in the form of references at the end of the manuscript. Again, this follows IEEE style, and as I mentioned earlier, there are other styles like APA, Chicago, MLA, and so on. So, the structuring will vary according to the style guides used. For instance, you might see author and date system in the in-text citation instead of numerics in APA style. So, this is one thing you should keep in mind. Let's now discuss this with certain comparison standards as shown in the table. Citation can be understood as a formal abbreviated reference in the main body of the text, which clearly and uniquely identifies the author and the publication year from which the details are derived. On the other hand, a reference list is nothing but a list of resources which you have used particularly for writing your paper and also while performing the research. In terms of application, citation helps in informing your readers about the source from where the information is extracted. As against in the case of a reference, the reader gets to know about the complete source of information. The intention of citations are to mainly showcase the source of the material taken. Conversely, references are mainly used to support or critique an argument or a point. While reference is found at the end of the manuscript, the citation is a bracketed piece of information which informs the readers about the source of the material. Finally, when it comes to details, the reference provides more information than citation. A reference actually provides all the details of the source, such as author's name, the title of the publication, date of publication, page number, wherein citation provides only a few details such as year of publication and the last name of the author. So, having discussed the distinction between citation and references, we will now discuss the next topic, that is the differences between references and bibliography. Usually, when you write academic papers, you will need to include a list of sources you used to write that paper. There are two main ways to list your sources, either using a reference list or using a bibliography. References include sources that have been directly cited in your paper, as I mentioned earlier. For each source, you will have at least one in-text citation in the body of the paper. Bibliographies, on the other hand, contain all the sources that you have used for your paper, whether they are directly cited or not. That is a key difference between a reference and a bibliography. In bibliography, you should include all the materials you consulted in preparing your paper that actually influenced your idea in writing this paper, even though they have not been cited in the text. Both reference lists and bibliographies appear at the end of a written work and are organized alphabetically. Again, it depends on the style guide used. Note that a paper can have both a reference list and also a bibliography. The differences between reference and bibliography can be drawn clearly on the following comparison standards as shown in the table. As I mentioned earlier, reference implies referring to either someone or something, meaning it provides a list of sources whose text is used in that manuscript. Conversely, bibliography represents the list of all the sources from which research has gained some information about the topic, irrespective of whether the work is cited or not within the body of the text in the manuscript. References are usually based on primary sources, whereas bibliography is created on the basis of both primary and secondary sources. References used in the academic paper can be arranged alphabetically or numerically. On the other hand, list of sources used in the bibliography is usually arranged numerically. The bibliography is used to list out everything you go through to obtain the information pertaining to the academic paper, no matter if you specifically cite in your paper or not. On the other hand, references only takes into account those sources which have been actually cited in the manuscript. The main objective of adding a reference at the end of the document is to improve credibility or support an idea or an argument. As against, the bibliography is not used for any such thing to either to support an argument or an idea. While reference is used in thesis and dissertation, bibliographies are usually used in writing journal paper and research work. So, to sum up, references and bibliography are almost same, but there are only subtle differences between the two, which lies in the item as well as what they are included in them. The primary use of references is to get recognition and authentication of the research work, whereas the primary aim of a bibliography is appended with the aim of giving the reader the information on the sources pertaining to that particular topic. With the help of these two, the author shows acknowledgement to those scholars whose work or ideas has been used in the manuscript. So thank you.